last week, I think the way that we summarize it would be missed opportunities. And against a good football team, and you're playing in the MAC West, we can't miss out on opportunities. We sure had them. We were on their side of the field in our first 5 possessions. Didn't necessarily start on their side of the field, but nevertheless, we're on their side of the field 5 times and came away with 7 points. That's not going to cut it. So some things that went well. We rushed the ball better. We had about 178 yards rushing. Defensively, we limited their explosive offense to, by our measuring standards, 2 explosive plays, which was a heck of a job. And then, special teams is multifaceted, but we believe the most important play in football is the punt play, and we were dominant, in that area. We won the turnover takeaway ratio again. We're 4-2 in that, and that is, I think, the number one determining factor other than points. So we're doing some things well. We're not perfect. We want to be. We'll keep working and keep battling to try to get better.
A couple defensive questions to start off with first. It seems like your 2 starting linebackers are having seasons that are exceptional compared to their previous years. What have you seen the development of both Jalen and then Kyle Rockwell as well?
Well, I know that, Coach Nether even in and then towards the end of spring ball, the way that he would describe it is that those guys are playing like seniors. Guys have been in the program for 5 years and for 4 years. And I know exactly what he means by that, that they're leading. They know the defense inside and out. So they're playing fast, playing with confidence, and those are 2 really good football players. Again, they'd be the first to tell you that they've got people in front of them that help them do what they're doing. But the first half of the season has been fantastic by that crew, and excited about seeing them even improve in the second half.
We haven't quite seen the same Jerry in terms of the sack production. But once again, he's able to get his paw on a blocked PAT. It's the 3rd time he's been able to block a kick in his Eastern career. 10th overall during your 5-year tenure. What has been the difference on special teams to allow plays like that to happen?
I don't know if there's been a difference. We've been doing that consistently. Desire, timing, and then, of course, the scheme all have something to do with that. Jerry does have a knack, and again, I think of it as it's a combination of his desire, and then, he's athletic in terms of both physically and in his mind, so a lot of that's timing and knowing where the ball's going to be and when your hand needs to go up, and, Jerry is a 2-time captain, and there's nobody on the team that guys respect more.
You touched on the punting side of special teams, but the way you were able to also help limit Western's starting field position with kickoff coverage, they basically started at the 25 all game long. That certainly helps a defense too when you're able to make them go long distances.
Yeah, starting at the 25, from an offensive perspective, is not the end of the world. I think, we fair catch the ball a lot, knowing that we'll be at the 25-yard line. A lot of teams, want the ability to try to break one, but the reality of it is their average starting field position is less than the 25. So, that's a philosophical debate. But I think we had 4 touchbacks, so just did not give, because they have some explosive athletes, and didn't give them an opportunity to return kicks, and then the punt team, we had 4 inside the 10-yard line, which is exceptional.
This week, opponent in Toledo, explosive offense that's putting up better than 46 a game. What have you seen so far on the Rockets?
Well, the ultimate compliment, I don't know if it's the ultimate compliment, but to me it's a pretty high compliment, is done this for 5 years here now, and Toledo is a program. They're just not a team from year to year. And again, I say that as the highest compliment that I can give. And so when numbers change or the names on the back of the jersey change, they still play the same style, the same system, and they play it at a high level. And that's something that, I think anybody would aspire, to be and to get to. And so quarterback's different, even within this season, but still very productive. They spread you out. They know what they're doing. They know that you got 11 people on defense, and you've got to choose what you're going to defend to some degree. And their system is built in a way where I think they do a great job of taking what you give. I think that's a very good, sound offensive philosophy, and then they have the ability to do that. So they can do it with outside receivers, they can do it with slot receivers, they can do it with tight ends, and they can do it in the running game. And they're good at it. And so I think that's, what I would say about their offense. They're difficult to defend, combination of really good people, year in and year out. And it's a system, that is very difficult.
Last year, you look back at the matchup with Toledo, you hold them 25 points below what their season average was as they go on to win the MAC championship. What were you able to do so successfully against them last year?
Well, again, putting a plan together against Toledo every year, is challenging. Our guys have risen to that challenge for sure. It'll incorporate trying to limit explosive plays. Again, eliminating them is a tall task over 3.5 hours with as many folks as they have, but I think our defense has done and obviously desires to continue to do a great job at limiting explosive plays. And so, not to say that people aren't going to get their yards and whatnot, but that's not what we're trying to accomplish. What we're trying to accomplish is keeping people out of the end zone. And so everything that we do is going to have that to be a part of it.
You talk a lot about going 1-0 every week. What are you going to take from that first half of the season? What do you think you've learned that you're going to bring into the second half of the season and not just flush down and looking for the next week to be 1-0? What do you think really worked at the beginning of the season that you can start to bring into the second half?
There's a lot of things that have worked. Our football team is close. Those guys care about each other. They play for each other, not just with each other. They absolutely fight. And again, we've been far from perfect. We haven't started games perfectly. We haven't finished games perfectly. It's never been for a lack of effort or fight. And we're not talking about the kind of effort and fight where you're down 35-0 and so the game's over and so, you score a cheap one late and, hey, we fought to the end. It's not what it is. Our guys, so to me it always starts with that. You got a family that cares about each other. You got guys that are playing hard, working hard, preparing hard. Those are foundational qualities that you have to have success. So, what are some positive things? We've talked about it some. Special teams and turnovers and takeaways has always been and always will be the key to victory for me on game day. We've not been perfect in special teams. We've won the battle every week when you look at it the totality, but there's been, we've missed some field goals that obviously, nobody wants to miss. We want to be a little bit more consistent with that. And, we made some kickoff return mistakes this last week, but we've got to do a great job with special teams. We have not been turning the ball over much and haven't been perfect in that way, but we have been taking it away. Like I said, we're 4-2 in the turnover takeaway margin. That has to continue. And then offensively, we showed some signs of being able to run the football this last week. Not that we hadn't prior, but I just think that we're capable of doing that, and I think that, in this second half that we'll be running the football more effectively, and that's going to help us.